all heard the promise of Omnichannel. Your customers get to interact with your brand in whatever way they prefer, fostering a frictionless experience that keeps them coming back. So how's that going for you? Odds are, not as well as you hoped. Welcome to this quick take on Omnichannel experiences. Here to set us up with some data on the customer perception of Omnichannel is Christine Miller, VP of Customer Experience at Ipsos.
There really is agreement that there's room for improvement. We see that less than half find it easy to do business with their bank digitally. Less than a third feel that their primary bank is an innovative leader in financial services, and a little over a third feel that their bank is invested appropriately in making it easy to interact across physical and digital channels.
In all these cases, we can see customers feel like these omnichannel experiences are not being prioritized and delivered to the best of their ability. Meanwhile, here's the boots on the ground view from Irina Long, Senior VP of Customer Experience and Analytics at Citizens Bank.
There are some really interesting things that came out of a recent proof of concept. 77% of Citizens customers during that POC use digital channels. But there's quite a few who are still calling it. 11% of those customers only engage through the phone. And then 12% engage multiple channels.
So here's a scoreboard. About half of people find it's easy to deal with their bank digitally. Less than a third of folks think their primary bank is an innovative leader. And a bit over a third think their bank is making it easy to interact across both physical and digital channels. Meanwhile, nearly 80% of customers are using digital channels to interact. 12% are using multiple channels, and there are still 11% of customers using only the voice channel. So, while that omnichannel promise sounds like the dream, it's really, really hard to get this flow right. Fortunately, we get to hear exactly how Citizens Bank is making it work in 4 ways. First up is instilling your approach to journey design. Here's Irina again.
We have a mobile-first and digital everything consumer banking strategy. We like to look at journeys based on the customer's jobs to be done, whether they're becoming a new customer, they want to invest their money, or they want to borrow money.
We have a really robust journey design practice here that helps us understand the end-to-end journey experience, as well as those individual touch points and how we can maximize those across the hybrid channels.
That's Ray Hicks, VP of Customer Experience Optimization at Citizens.
It's very easy to think about my specific channel, but really, how does that channel interact with a customer across their relationship? We really try to work with our experience owners to think about sort of the future state, to make them be able to pull up and look across the landscape and understand, if I'm doing something on the mobile experience today, the mobile app, how does that impact my partners down in the branch channel, down the contact center, or even in the back office, and how those experiences come together to really be complementary?
Now, this journey design practice is vital to the holistic approach Citizens is taking. You have to go beyond single channel thinking as a team and as an organization. As Ray said, look beyond your sole area of responsibility to create an integrated journey. The second thing is to look into the data. I mean, no duh, right? But here's the twist. Are you looking at a number or the bigger picture? Here's Ray again.
The standard CX measurements are interesting, but they don't really tell you the whole story. You really have to be able to complement that NPS, that customer sat score, whatever you're using, with really data on the back end to help you understand 2 things. One, the totality of that customer's experience with you, as well as the scale of that experience across many, many customers, right? I think every single day I get a question about some sort of CX measurement or CX analysis we've done, that someone will ask us a question that will require us to go back and get more data to answer. There's a definite reflection that being able to marry the voice of the customer, that sentiment, with really strong data to help tell a more robust story is just really going to be critical. And I think that's just going to get more and more important.
And Irina adds in,
but customer experience data isn't just CX measurements like we normally look at, right? So it's, yes, NPS, CSAT, OSAT, whatever you call it. You also have to look at the journey that the customer is going through. And it is the call volumes, it is the experience that they're having, our customer service professionals providing service with empathy. That's also part of our customer experience measurements in a certain way, because we have so much data and we still don't know our customers.
Now, this next piece doesn't usually make it into talks like these, but I really like how Ray brings the focus to business value. So the next step is to prioritize based on the greatest bang for your buck.
we really try to focus on the experience we're building and balancing that with the financial benefit we'll get from that, right? It's great to design a perfect experience, but it needs to drive some sort of business value. And that's been much more of our conversation, and I would say over the past, say, year or so than it has been ever before, right? To really understand where do we prioritize and how do we get the most bang for our buck? So it's really a combination of a really strong prioritization approach, really strong effort around understanding the customer, what we're trying to build, and a really strong effort around making that consistently improve over time versus just a one-time deployment.
And the last step is to think of your experience as a differentiator for your brand.
A checking account or banking products are very much the same across different banks. But at the end of the day, it's the brand promise and what does citizens stand for? Why do customers come back to us? And we need to think about ourselves that way as well. From a customer experience perspective, how do we come across as one bank and not different experiences?
How do you come across as one entity, one brand, and not different experiences? All right, y'all. I think that's a great question to end on. Thanks for joining us this quick take. See you on the next one.